let's have a discussion about this. So the State of Destiny 2 came out. They talked about a bunch of the stuff that they want to do. I think the biggest thing to come out of this is we're getting new content, obviously, with Kryptos of Osiris, but we're also getting the Masterworks system of weapons with these new content. So Masterwork works like this. You get a weapon can drop at Masterwork status above 250 power level. Masterwork statuses have a randomly rolled weapon perk, and all Masterwork weapons generate orbs on multi-kills for yourself and allies. So this randomly rolled perk is going to be a small pool of perks, okay? That's my first worry. And I'm not saying, oh, the Bungie can't do anything right, blah, blah, blah. Just let me get through the whole thing before we talk about the goods, positives, bads, and my overall opinion on it. So, it's going to be a small pool of perks, which is the first problem, okay? But you can dismantle unwanted Masterwork weapons and get the materials to upgrade a weapon to Masterworks that you want upgraded. So that's good. That's great all on its own. Really is, okay? It's at this point that you're going to want to start fucking banking all tokens that you possibly can, to be honest. So a small pool of randomly rolled perks and generated orbs lie, and it tracks your kills, Crucible and PvE, or just PvE, or PvP in Crucible, okay? The Masterworks is a good step in the right direction. What I want to be a better step in the right direction is mods with this, which it looks like that's what they're doing. Where apparently, basically, Banshee's going to give us options for buying specific mods that we want now, which is great. But they're looking at making the mod economy more impactful in January. Okay. This is basically all we're getting with Banshee for now. Just mods. Xur is going to have basically a 3 of coins, and then he's also going to have a faded engram. It'll be an exotic that you do not currently have. And you'll get to buy that once a week from Xur. Okay, whatever. Again, I think they're making exotics too easy to get. I'm sorry, I think exotics should be harder to get than what they are currently right now. I think Xur should be the easiest state at which you get them. I think exotics should drop less frequently from public events, less frequently from chests, less frequently in general. Exotics are so easy to get, and part of my reasoning for them dropping less frequently in general is, one, that gives you things to shoot for getting exotics. Two, I think exotics still need to be powerful overall. They're looking at tuning underperforming exotics, but underperforming exotics aren't going to be things like Instrumental Skullfort. It's not going to be anything like Risk Runner or Sunshot or any of that stuff. It's not going to be stuff that already kind of fits in a role. What I want out of exotic tuning is for them to make exotics feel like power fantasies again. For these exotics to do something unique that no other item in the game can do or replicate, and makes you uniquely powerful in that certain way. Destiny is a game that's purely about PvP or purely about PvE. PvP is just kind of like a sideshow. And they're really proving it that they kind of think PvP is a sideshow as well here. Even though I love PvP in Destiny 2, that's not what it's about, unfortunately. And I wish Bungie would get back on track about making games that work great in PvP and PvE settings. Because you could play Halo multiplayer levels for hours, or single player levels for hours and hours and go do multiplayer, and it would be just as fun both ways. But I wish they would wake up and they would say something about, hey, we're doing dedicated servers. Hey, we're tuning matchmaking so that it's less about connection because our server system sucks dick, and more about quality of matchmaking in terms of how good someone is versus you, not connection-wise. So, you know, they also need to separate tuning of this is PvE tuning, this is PvP tuning. It needs to be separate. And if that means guns act differently in PvP than PvE for balancing purposes, so be it. It means that we have a healthy PvP community and a healthy PvE community. Face the facts. People that play a lot of PvE usually only do weekly activities for PvP. They're usually only there for the raid, they're there for milestones, and maybe public events occasionally. And maybe the Nightfall, well, the Nightfall's part of milestones. But that's all those heavy PvPers do for PvE content. The PvPers then go back to PvP and stay at PvP and want more PvP. So, and then the PvE people, they don't go do Crucible, they go do more public events. They farm strikes. Well, they will farm strikes now. But, so the Masterworks, I think, are a good change. It's definitely a step in the right direction. They said they're going to expand on it. I want them and it's good. I just wish there was more to them now, because I don't know that the Masterworks system is going to be enough to keep D2 available, or people wanting more until March, which is the next DLC. I think it's good. It is good. It's just, I almost feel like it just might be too little too late. It's just my biggest concern with it. They're adding armor ornaments. This is nice. I do like this, and this is going to add to that longevity of the game. So we have Vanguard faction armor ornaments. All these are coming in Season 2. Vanguard, Crucible, Trials of the Nine, Iron Banner, Dead Orbit, Future War Cult, New Monarchy, and Eater of the World's Lair armor ornaments. Now, Eater of the World's Lair is going to be the first raid armor ornaments, I'm assuming. It may actually not be. This may be the second raid tier armor ornaments. It would make sense that they would incentivize the second layer armor raid ornaments and not just be like, fuck it, the first one will get them later, or not at all. Because I dislike the first raid in Destiny personally. I think a lot of people think it's average or slightly above average. Here's another extremely good thing, but this makes me worry, because I feel like this is going to reveal a lot of the flaws that Destiny 2 has with its armor selection, okay? Faction armor and weapons will be unlocked for purchasing for legendary shards and faction tokens on most faction vendors. All 5 armor slots will always be present, and weapons will rotate weekly on factions that have them. Slots will be unlocked by claiming reward engrams from respective faction. You will gain credit for engrams you have already claimed since launch. Great. So slots will be unlocked by claiming rewards from respective faction. Okay, got it. This is good. It's going to allow us to buy whatever we want, and there's also going to be armor ornaments for these, so we can actually target something and go after it specifically. That's really good. That's something that we've been wanting. We want to be able to set ourselves a goal about armor and weapons and go for that goal. We've not had that. Here's the problem. Most of the weapons and the armor in Destiny are reskins of a reskin of an original that might be actually a copy of something else. That's most of the armor in Destiny. It's just a reskin of a reskin. I can't tell you, the Devastation Complex set is used 3 times for Titans. 3 times for Titans, okay? The Devastation Complex, then there's Crucible, and then there's one other that I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's named something else. That's just one example. There's 3 other armor sets I can think of. I'm main Titan, so I see a lot of the armor sets. There's 3 other armor sets I can think of that I've seen multiple pieces just named differently with different color schemas at different vendors. It happens a lot in Destiny 2. I fear that this selection is going to lead to people realizing, oh hey, this is just a fucking reskin. And I think that was their fear originally. Now, maybe this will change. Maybe we're getting new armor sets for all these faction vendors with Season 2. I really hope we are. I hope it's all new faction Crucible, Future War Cult, New Monarchy, Dead Orbit. I hope, I hope these are all new armor sets for all of these vendors right here. Not just ornaments, but new armor sets entirely. And new armor sets and ornaments for those new armor sets. Okay? I think stuff like that needs to be taken out of rotation so that we can see that, hey, this person was here during Season 1 of Destiny 2. That was the only time that armor was gainable. I think that's a good thing moving forward. I think it is. So, yeah, I really actually hope... Yeah, I think new armor is needed. I also think... They didn't talk about this at all. They talked about Masterwork weapons. They said they plan to extend the Masterwork system out to armor at some point, which would be actually really fucking neat. Currently, it's only coming to weapons, and they're going to extend the mod system out to make it more impactful, which would be really fucking neat when they get around to it. Currently, it's still just this slight increase that we're getting, whereas you can see here, we can, if you look, kinetic counterbalance mod, you can use 5 mod components and 10 legendary shards and get that specific mod. So it looks like he's going to just let us buy specific mods on weekly rotations. It's what it's looking like. Rare quality mods are going to disappear and go into gunsmith materials or legendary quality mod components. Yeah, rotate daily and cost legendary shard components. So this will rotate daily right here, basically. Which is good, but what this means is that... Here's the whole thing I'm looking at. Basically what they're doing here, aside from Masterwork and armor ornaments, what they're doing here is they're just giving us more rewards overall, okay? They're just giving us more rewards overall. They're letting us pick what we want specifically. Now, letting us pick what we want specifically is good, but here's the thing. Quantity was not a problem beforehand. You could spend 2 or 3 hours in Destiny 2 grinding public events, getting legendaries and exotics, and a shitload of tokens from wherever, and at the end of 3 hours, you would get 20, 25 to 30 legendaries. Quality or quantity was never, ever, ever the issue. And it seems like a lot of this is just saying we're going to give you more quantity, but aside from Masterworks, we've not improved the quality of weapons and armor in Destiny 2. That's a problem. Quality was always the issue. It was never quantity, it was always quality of armor choice, quality of weapon choice. I think the random rolls, and this is why Masterwork is good, but sadly it's only coming to weapons. The random rolls on Masterworks for weapons is good. It's going to slightly increase the longevity of weapons, but it feels like it's like it's a step in the right direction, but it's a baby step in the right direction. So... I want to talk about this too, which is a bad thing. This is bad. Well, this is good, but this is bad. So, exploit safeguards for chests and resource nodes are greatly relaxed, and players should encounter them less frequently. Even if they do encounter these exploit safeguards for resource nodes and chests, drop rates for tokens is only reduced to 30% of the time, and Glimmer will be unaffected, so you'll always get Glimmer. We wanted to associate a visual indicator with this feature, but they'll put that in a later update. Vendors will now beckon you to hand in reputation tokens only when you're carrying enough to earn an engram. Changes affecting reputation tokens. I do not like this part at all, because this is a step backwards. Changes affecting reputation tokens. Daily challenges will have reputation tokens award increase across the board. Cade's treasure chest still offers variable rewards, but will now guarantee a minimum payout of destination-appropriate reputation tokens. Strikes will drop a larger number of Vanguard reputation tokens. Common quality destination resource tokens have their drop rates increased to 100%, and values per token increase as well by 50% for common quality tokens and 250% for rare quality tokens. What they're talking about are resources that you pick up, like Dusklight. For this resource increase here, the 50% to the 250%, they are talking about things like Dusklight that you would pick up. So they're increasing the rare by 250%. It's probably something like 2% right now. So that 250% is taking it up somewhere to something like 10%, you know? On the balance, reputation rewards, reputation required per reward engram, so this is how much reputation it requires per reward engram, will increase for destination factions, this is bad, by 37% and gunsmith by 50%. So the gunsmith will cost 50% more to get a level with him, 50% more tokens. He's at 30 currently, okay? 50% of 30 is 15. The gunsmith is going to require 45 tokens to level up. Destination factions are going to cost 37%. 37% to level up from now on. Now, just a quick math here. 20, it's like 7.4. 27.4, 28 tokens. They're probably going to round up. 28 tokens to level up. Destination factions. They're increasing how many tokens it takes to level up these factions. Now, you're going to say this isn't such a bad thing because they're giving us a lot more tokens across the board. That is a very fair and valid point to make. But the whole point of this was to give us the ability to choose more. They're partially doing this because so that we'll still have a grind, because we are going to be receiving a lot more tokens. Now, I'm not saying I don't want a grind. I want a meaningful grind, though. I don't know. Leviathan, and this is also a bad change. I do not like this change. Leviathan raid tokens will be redeemed at Benedict immediately upon obtaining a token instead of requiring a full clear before unlocking. Meaning, the second that you get a token, you will get the bonus rep from Benedict for it. The moment that you have enough rep to level up, you will then get an engram from Benedict. This is not the answer to raid loot. Not the answer to raid loot. This is not it, Bungie. Raid loot should be you open a chest, you're guaranteed to get a piece of raid something. Go back to fucking loot tables. Because listen, that's what people would go in and they say, hey, I want this specific item piece. This only drops from the Templar. I only need to kill the Templar this week in VOG. And then I'm done with VOG for the week. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm just going to go kill the Templar. It gave you reasoning behind doing things, wanting to kill specific bosses. It gave you more of an idealism of what you're shooting for and the possibility of things that you can get. Automatically redeeming tokens is not the answer here. This is not the answer, and I feel like this is a band-aid, a very shitty band-aid on top of raid loot currently. This is not the answer for raid loot. I don't even think this is a good temporary solution for raid loot, to be honest with you. They need to heavily look at raid loot, in my opinion. I feel like... Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Going forward, the Destiny 2's post-launch system features updates are designed specifically to focus on support players who want Destiny to be their hobby, the game they return to. A game where friendships are made. We want Destiny to be a game that fits into your life, providing you with reasons to log in and play it, clans and families, friends. We want Destiny to be a world you want to be a part of. When you're designing this content and these reward systems for people, you've done this and you're still doing this because you talk about specifically players that play long periods of time, the, increased reward, better incentives for prestige activities for the more pursuing player, right? Like, you're talking about that a lot. Here is the thing. You're still drawing this line in your audience saying, okay, well, these people aren't going to do this. These people are going to do this. That line does not exist. That's your casual, your hardcore audience line. That line does not fucking exist. I need you to stop pretending that that line exists, Bungie. It does not exist, okay? See, the casual players, if they have the chance or the ability at any point to do stuff the hardcore people would do, like a Prestige Nightfall, like a Prestige Raid, if the rewards are appropriate, by the way, they're going to. You probably saw a huge decrease in Prestige Nightfall and Prestige Raid activities, and it wasn't because it wasn't rewarding enough for the hardcore players, it was because it wasn't rewarding enough for anybody. It wasn't rewarding enough for the more casual quote-unquote player to attempt to get a group together to do it. It wasn't rewarding enough for the more hardcore player to do it, instead they just did regular raid. You need to stop drawing this line in the sand that casual players aren't going to do rewarding activities like hardcore players are going to do. They're going to do it less frequently, but they're still going to do it. And I think that's the problem, is that you're trying to draw this line saying, hey, hardcore players, we know you guys are the only ones that do this shit, and that's just not true. You can't design content philosophy around this. When you're designing a content philosophy around this stuff, you need to assume, what if everybody is going to be... What if everybody is going to be doing this content? How would we appropriate the tables to it then? We would want this to be good for everybody. And I think that is still the problem here. I am not saying this is bad. This is good. A lot of this is good. New armor ornaments, new ways to spin legendary token, or legendary shards and tokens at faction vendors. We're going to get armor ornaments for a ton of different factions here. 7, it looks like. 4, 5, 8, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to get new stuff from Xur, new stuff from Banshee. We're going to get Masterworks. That's great. I still think, though, that you're drawing these soft lines in the sand about how you want to treat the casual players and how you want to treat the hardcore players. Maybe in your head, casual players aren't going to reach Masterwork as often as hardcore players are. Nothing was talked about prestige rewards anywhere. So, I don't know. I really don't know. Deepen rewards for advanced players. I mean, Masterwork does that, but that's the only thing that does that. They didn't talk about prestige rewards at all. So, I hope prestige turns into something more. I really do. If it doesn't, why do you have these higher end tier of things for us to do? It's confusing to me. This is a good step in the right direction. It is good. Overall, I am happy about this. I am on the I'm on the good side, right? But I'm just barely there. I'm like 60% of the way there. I want it to be like 80 or 90% of the way there. This, with new content, will keep us entertained for a couple of weeks. Longer than Destiny 2 vanilla content did, for sure. But I don't know. I really don't know. I think I just feel like after so much, and it is a mountain of things that were done wrong with Destiny 2, there could have been a lot more done right here. The initial period of, hey, we're breaking the surface of the water here. We want to do as good as possible. I don't know. It's good, but it's not good enough, is what I want to say. I feel like it's just maybe a little too late. I know I seem I'm being pessimistic, but I am happy. Alright. That's my thoughts. That is my thoughts on the State of Destiny 2 post from Bungie Deej. It is good. It is good, especially with all the new content. I just wish there was more good to be had, because I still don't feel like, yeah, you guys did good. This is what I feel like right now is like, yeah, you guys are finally doing what you're supposed to do. Where's the good? This is what you should have been doing the whole time. Where's the better now? I guess that's what I feel like. Call me ungrateful if you want to. Tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's what I feel like right now coming out of Bungie. Like, this is what you guys should have been doing from the start. Why is it taking this long to only get part of the changes there now? I am Guns. That is my thought on the state of Destiny 2.